share. So within the HIP office, you'll actually be able to start performing scheduling orders for use in the Home Inspector Pro program. And so this is all done within the HIP office. So there are two ways that you can get orders into the HIP office, and both of this is done under the Orders tab. You can go to the New Order Wizard, which walks you through creating orders, or customers can schedule their inspections through your website through the New Order Wizard that's customer facing. So we're going to take a look at the New Order Wizard within HIP Office. So you click on this, and the first thing that's going to prompt you to do is select a client. And this is who the inspection is going to be for. You can have one or two clients, and you have your available list of clients listed here. And this is the same list for clients 1 and 2. So if you add them to one, they'll be available in the other. You can search for clients if you have more than a large number of clients, and you can select them, and you'll see it says you've selected this client as client 1. If there is no second client, just leave it blank. You don't have to do anything. And you can always go to add new client if you want to add additional clients. If you don't find them in the list, basically provide all the basic information for the client. You're also able to enter in notes on this specific client if there's specific needs for them, or anything that would be appropriate, and add the new client. And that will then make them available to select. You have the same options for the buyer's agent and seller's agent. You are not required to enter an agent for an order, but you have that option. And it is possible, if you're coming from another system, to import the agents and the clients into the system from a text file, so you could have all those agents specifically populated. I'm going to go ahead and just pick an agent, so this one. And then we'll click on Save and Next. It'll then be looking for the property information for the property you're inspecting. So I'm going to go ahead and put and this uses the Google Maps listing, so it will automatically guess or not guess, it will search for the property based on your location and what you start typing in there. And you'll see it populates the address information here. Now, you may run into situations where you do not have an exact address for the property. Say, for example, it's a new construction and it may not be added to the general address system yet. You can click on Address Not Found, and this will allow you to specify the zip code of the entry. So one addresses. And this will allow you to then type in the address, so you can manually enter in an address. It does need to have the general location, so it's able to calculate out the distance, and so it goes based on the general zip code of what you enter in, and then you're able to specify a detailed address. But I'm going to go ahead and pick it in an actual address. Then for a given property, there's the option to fetch property details from realtor.com. And what this will do is this will populate the year built, age of property, and the basic information about the property for you to, so it's able to calculate the distance and the age and other details of the property to properly have those shown. I'm actually going to find one that has a, there we go. Let's find one that actually has a listing. 511. There we go, and fetch the property details. And so it pulls up the image from the MLS and populates the values. You are also able to specify an image if you have an existing image that to show there. This may be the case if it's a property that doesn't have a image in the MLS. We do pull from realtor.com. It previously was pulling from Zillow, but Zillow has taken away the option for third parties to look up information. So that's why we don't pull that information anymore. And it does have the link to the actual listing here. So if you want to look up the actual listing where it's getting the information, you can click there to get that. But We'll click on Save and Next. And you specify the services that are going to be applied. So depending on how you have set up your services, it allows you to choose a primary service, and you can only pick one primary service.
Can you
And
go
then you can
back for
pick,
1 second?
yeah,
How do you edit a client?
like the client contact information and stuff.
Yeah, if it was entered incorrectly or not complete.
So from this screen, you're not able to edit the clients in this version of HIP Office. In the next update, there will be the option to edit that. If you need to change the client information, you can go to Data Management and Clients.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you.
And then, yeah, you can click on the edit in the far right-hand column, but that'll be changing in the next update that comes out.
Fair.
So
thank you.
So I went to the, I left the new order wizard that I was creating. And so this actually gives a good example. It says you are working on an order that has been saved as a draft. And so this allows me to continue where we were. If you do have to leave during the entry of the information, you can always go to the draft orders on the left-hand side. And this will allow you to see the orders and continue on any partially created orders. So I'm going to pick the service. So I'm going to do residential, and then any of the add-on services. You don't have to pick an add-on service, but you can pick one or multiple add-ons. But you do have to pick a primary service. Save and next. And then we're able to specify when is this inspection going to occur. So I'm doing this on the 11th. And it'll show you for any given day that you select what time slots are available. And I don't have any slots available on that day. Maybe I don't have any slots open. Let's see. So let's see. Oh, here we go. I had it set to block time slots. So so it shows you any available time slots. And so then I can specify, I can either, I can then type in a time, but say I'm going to do pick a different day that has more slots available. Do this on the 14th, and I'll do this at 7:30 a.m. Done. And so it shows it has the slot requested time slot, and it shows how much time is available during that window, or calculated based on the length of the size of the property and the location. It's calculating about how long the estimated amount of time it's going to take. You can always override this to be a longer period if you wanted to, but this is calculating based on the settings that you put in your scheduling parameters. Now, keep in mind, as the person in the office putting this in, you could schedule an inspection for Sunday at 3 a.m. and it will let you schedule that because you know when you're going to be available to schedule. For customers, it's going to limit it down to just the available slots that are that have been defined. So go ahead and hit save and next. And so then it gives a calculation of the fees based on the fee schedule that we've set up. So based on the size and the so the square footage, the age, and all those type of things, it's given a size of 375, and how much for each of the add-on services. I have additional add-on age of property fees, and I'm not charging for distance, so it leaves the value as 0. I also have predefined discounts that are in the discount section, and it gives a total amount of fees. Now, if you want, you can also add in additional fees here by clicking on the plus icon, and this allows you to add or remove fees or discounts, either a positive or negative number, so you can have that in there. Keep in mind that any add changes you make here are going to also appear on the invoice. One thing to keep in mind is the recalculate fees. If you make changes to these values, recalculating the fees does not recalculate the total based on everything that's here. It resets it to the defaults that are calculated by the system. And we're actually changing the name of this button, so it'll be say something different. This is intended just to force it to manually reset it back to the previous values. I'm going to go ahead and remove that entry I added in. And you can always change the values manually here. So say, for example, that sewer scope is higher. I'm don't want to charge that full amount. So I can change it to I'm locked on, that's why. So I could change it to like 206. And you'll see at the bottom, once I move off of that, oops. Once I move off of that, it has reduced the amount automatically by the $200 discount that I put in there in the value. So you have the ability to tweak the values as in the calculated fees as you need. Hit save and next, and this allows us to review the settings for the inspection. I do not have payments, online payment set up, so it doesn't have any option to collect payment online. But it does give you the option to either have the contract signed online or signed offline, and also how to release the report based on payment. So you can change these values. And if you have any integrations enabled, you can turn off or turn on any integrations that have been enabled for like Secure 24 for home security leads, or for Porch or HomeBite, or any of those options. It gives you the option to turn on or turn those off. Hit save and next, and this just has you review the information that you've entered in, so you can double check everything that's here. And once everything looks good, you can click on create order, and it has you confirm. And this goes ahead and actually creates the order for the inspection. And so this then takes you to the order list. And you'll see the most recent order is the one we just created. And you'll notice the order for this says submitted. It creates the order nearly immediately, but it can take a short amount of time to actually go and actually create the order. Most people, it takes about 10-20 seconds for it to create it. But if we click on the actual order number, we can see the details of what we've entered in for this order. So it has the client information, the agent, the picture, and then we're able to look at the individual values that were on each of these tabs. And these reflect what you entered in on each of those different tabs as we're entering in the information. So some of the other things to look at on this screen, there's the email tab. And when the order is created, all of the emails that are possible to automatically send, or that are automated in the system, are going to be displayed here, because all of the emails associated are created at the time of the order's creation. Now, if there are changes that are made to the order, such as like changing the customer's name, changing the address, changing the agent, any of those things change that are applicable to any of the emails, it will automatically regenerate those emails as needed. But for expediency, it generates all the emails ahead of time, so you can see what the emails are going to say and which ones are planned to go out based on the triggers that were set up in the system and who they're going to be going to. Some of these emails may never be sent, such as like if you have one for order canceled, or order rescheduled, or refunds, they may never be sent because they never do occur, but it has those available. So keep in mind, it's going to have them listed. Now, once an email is actually sent, once it occurs, you'll have the it'll show you the time of when the email was sent. Let's see. Yeah, and they haven't gone out yet. And if the email has been sent, it'll show you the time of when it was sent, whether it was delivered, and it gives you the option to resend that email, which allows you to resend an email to whoever you want, and also modify that email. We go to the contract tab. This shows you the contract based on the contract template that was generated when the actual order was created. If you do want to download this contract for offline signing, say you want to actually print it out and have the customer sign it, or you want to go through a third-party system like DocuSign, you can download the contract for offline signing. This will give you the option to save that PDF. You do also have the option to, if you do download the contract for signing, you do then have the option to upload that signed contract manually, and this will prompt you to select the PDF that you want to upload to the system. And that way, when you upload the contract, it will consider this contract signed. There's also the option to regenerate the contract manually. By default, if you were to change any of the values, such as like the client information, the fees, the services offered, the agents. If you make any of those changes, it's going to automatically regenerate the contract to include the changes that you've made in the contract itself. But you can always manually initiate the regeneration of the contract. Now, when the actual contract is signed, this screen will be updated and it'll have a copy of the signed contract listed here that you can save for your purposes, but it'll also be stored here. And actually, if we go back to the email tab for the inspection booked, you'll see in the body of this email is where it actually has the link for contract and payment to be made. And so we can actually click on that just to see what the contract is going to look like. And it asks, you're saying this person is going to sign the contract. So I hit yep. And it confirms. And it then gives the body of the contract shown here. And so I have to initial, and this is all stuff that was based in my contract templates that I set up previously. And then I can sign the contract. And once it is signed, I can save and proceed. So I'm doing this as if I were a customer, but this is similar to what the customer will see. This says, thank you for signing. And because I have the payment set to be done offline, it says payment will be invoiced separately or paid at the time of service. If you have it set up that you're going to be collecting payment online, it will give them the option to then pay for their inspection directly through whatever gateway you've previously set up. Go back to my order. And actually, if I go to the contract tab, no, it hasn't updated yet. It can take a few seconds for it to update the contract with the signed contract, but that'll show up here shortly. There's the payment details, which gives a breakdown of what customers are going to be paying. You do have the option if you need to, if you want to manually send a copy of the invoice to the customer, you can click where it says download paid invoice. And this will give you a PDF download to send off. And you do have the option of collecting offline payment here if you do not have a gateway set up. And so you can specify the payment method, whether cash, check, whatever it's going to be, who paid it, and a description for that payment. So you can put like the check ID number, or you could specify whatever details for the description. Once you do that, this will mark this as paid. If you do have the payment gateway set up, it will have the option to pay when the customers go to sign the contract. You'll also have the ability to collect the payment directly here. So if you have to take the credit card payment over the phone, you can click to make the online payment here and manually enter the values in. Under the reports tab, any reports that are uploaded from Home Inspector Pro are going to be listed in this section. And so you can either upload the inspection from the Home Inspector Pro program, or if you're going to be doing it through some other system, you can manually upload the inspection report to the section. It does require that it is a PDF file that you're going to be uploading. Once you have uploaded a report, it will have information such as the name of the PDF, and it'll be a clickable link. If you have the HTML feature enabled where it's displayed as a web page, the link to the PDF will be here, as well as when it was sent and viewed. So you can see the status of the report that's here. Now, if you upload multiple copies of the same report, it does keep a record of every copy of the uploaded report that is going to be visible or has been uploaded to the system. And it'll have the most recent version of the report as the one that's going to be available for the customers to view. So if you have multiple revisions, say you did a copy of the report, uploaded it, and then you realized you made a mistake, you go and correct it, upload it again, it will just show the second version, but both of them will be listed here for you to view. So you have a complete record and accountability listed here. There is also the option for supplemental reports. And so this is where you may have ancillary reports in addition to your whatever your primary report is, but you can have ancillary reports that are available to download. And this could be, say, you do a primary inspection, and then you have a separate PDF for termites that came from a third party. You could upload that PDF directly from within the Home Inspector Pro program as part of an inspection. Or if you have uploaded the primary report, the actual PDF report, you'll then have the option to manually upload a supplemental report. And any of the supplemental reports that you upload will be available to download in addition to the primary report. Whether to do the report separately or altogether comes down to personal preference. If you didn't want to bother with the supplemental reports, you can always add other PDFs to your inspection report within Home Inspector Pro by going to Insert PDF Documents and just manually adding a document in here. And this will allow you to say you had like water test results or radon results or copies of the permits. You could add those here. Otherwise, you could do them as a completely separate inspection. And if you do it as a separate inspection, when you go to upload the report, you're going to have an option to choose. It's probably not going to allow. Yeah, I haven't imported the data yet. It'll give you the option to specify that report as the supplemental report. Otherwise, if you had those, say, water test results, you could always go into the HIP office and under the supplemental tab, just manually upload that PDF. It comes down to whichever you prefer and personal preference. On the left-hand side, we have the inspection file. And this, whereas the reports is the PDFs that are generated from Home Inspector Pro and any other PDFs that are delivered to the client, the inspection file is your file as the inspector that you want to have saved to the Home Inspector Pro installation. And this allows you to have a backup of your editable inspection as the inspector. So should something happen, this is an additional backup you have available should you need to recover the data. And this is just a checkbox when you go to upload the report within the HIP desktop. It gives you the option to back up the inspection file. You can also click on upload inspection file here, and that'll allow you to select the HCF file to upload. Some of the other things to look at, there's the audit trail, which the audit trail shows basically everything that happens within the system. If you, in this case, I haven't really done anything to this order, so there's nothing to show for the audit trail, but this would show things like when, if you had to change the customer's name or the agent's name, it would show that you made the change to the name, and it would show both the previous and the new value that's listed here. Or if you need to change the pricing or any of those different affixes, it would have them in this location. You can also check the show system actions, and this shows everything that the system did or does as it goes through working with the order, such as it shows when the order was created, the different triggers that occurred to create the emails, and the emails that were created. But as you go through and make changes, it's going to keep a record of everything you do, and this is for accounting purposes, so you can show exactly what happened and when changes are made. So should a mistake be made, you could help find where that issue occurred. There's also the integration audit. And if you're using any of the third-party integrations, which you can see under settings and integrations, this is where information sent to third-party programs, such as like Secure24 or Porch or HomeBinder or any of those other systems, the integration audit shows you when was data sent to that third party and what data was sent. And this way you have accountability for what occurs as part of the order for things that are automated. On the left-hand side, there's also the option for errors and warnings. And if there are any type of errors or issues with your order, it will show you what problems there may be. And so you'll want to, if there are any errors that are shown here, make sure to correct those because those can keep the order from properly displaying. So within the order itself, by default, the orders are going to automatically complete. So once an inspection is imported, the inspection is performed, the report is uploaded, and the report is viewed, the contract is paid, marked as signed, and the inspection is paid for. Once all of those actions have occurred, the order is going to automatically be considered completed or closed. If you have an order that you would just manually want to close out, you can always click on mark this order as closed, and this will cause the order to close based on you specifying that. And there are triggers that may be associated with the closed period. But this would be a situation where if you have an order that cancels, you can always close it off the books, or any number of other situations where the order is not going to be automatically completed. So. Now, under the orders, we have some of that's you can get to the orders table by going to view orders. And this is where it shows you all your current orders that are in the system, both current and completed orders. And you'll see it shows you the property image if there is one, and every order has an order number. In the next version, you'll be able to change the order number to automatically number based on some other type of criteria. Right now, it just orders sequentially. You have the order status, which shows what the most recent status of that order is, such as the one we created today is now marked as created, whereas there are others where it's report uploaded, sent, imported, which means it was imported into the desktop software. But you also have ones that are completed. And so this allows you to see the different orders and the current status. At the top of this window, you do have a filter looking icon. And if you want to limit down what you're seeing to just orders that have a specific condition, you could say, for example, limit it to just the orders that are open. So these, or if you wanted, and it then allows you to choose the sub statuses if you'd like. But it allows you to control what's going to be shown here. So if I do closed, it's going to show me all my completed orders, and I just have the one. So you have various statuses that you can show here. But it allows you to limit down if you're looking for specific orders. You can also use the search at the top of the window to search for specific orders by name or address, other criteria. It then shows you the details. If you click on the address, this is going to launch show you the address in Google Maps, client information, your fees, and if you click on the fees, it takes you to shows you the fee details. Then in the details column, it does have some options such as to print the order off, to add additional services, shows you different versions of the reports. The payment details allows you to go through and actually make the payments directly from this section. As well as you have the option to cancel an order or delete an order. And generally, you're not going to delete an order once it's been created unless it's truly a mistake. And you can only delete an order that does not have the contract signed and doesn't have payments associated with it. Otherwise, it's not going to allow you to delete an order that has records associated with it. Same thing is true for completed orders. You can't cancel a completed order because it's already been completed. But this allows you to make some direct changes as needed. Now, if we go to an actual completed order where there's been payment and there's been contract signed and everything like that, we can always go to the payment details. And if you need to reverse a fee or refund a fee, well, oh, I already refunded this one, so I'm not able to refund it again after it's closed. But you have the option to both collect the information directly, but also refund the amounts as well. So this is where you would go to make your changes and see the individual details. It also allows you to download the PDFs of the invoices for the individual values. Now, if you have customers who are going to be signing up for inspections through your website, under the settings and other settings, there are the external inspection booking includes the links for what to include in your website. What the customers will see, and I have this just as a web page, but this would be embedded in a web page normally. They'll have the option to go through and schedule an inspection. So I'm going to go ahead and just like we did with the with manually entering order, we can enter in a value and see it populated the address, and we click on next, enter the client's name. You do not have to have an agent entered in here, whereas it does allow you to specify an agent. But if you leave it blank, it's not going to force you to add an agent in. The clients are able to search for an agent from your existing database of agents that you previously selected. If it doesn't show up, they would click on add new agent. So I'm going to leave the agent blank. And they specify the information about it. So it was built in 1985 and it's 2,400 square feet. And granted, you'd be relying on the customers to enter in values that they think are true. Customers don't always answer questions honestly. So you'd want to make sure that you double check the values that are entered in. We select the primary service and so residential. And I'm not going to have any ancillary services, but if they wanted to, they could select any number of the services that are there. This allows them to then select when they are looking for an inspection. And so so we're going to look at the 23rd, and it allows them to pick blocks of time when they're going to be available. And so if they pick 11:30, it is going to automatically put it in for that entire block. Then has them review all the information they've entered in, gives a breakdown of the pricing details, and just double check everything. Once everything looks good, they can click on submit and it confirms, do they want to actually submit this order? And now I have it set in the system that if it meets the criteria for distance and size, it's going to automatically accept those orders within HIP Office. And this is the a setting on the booking is whether or not you want it to automatically create the orders if they exist. When an order comes in through the web billing, instead of going into your orders, normally it will actually go into your pending orders. And so this is the one I just put in. It's considered pending, and you're notified via email when an order has come in that is pending for you to accept. Some people want to have the system automatically accept the order if it meets all the criteria, just because that way they never have to touch that record. Some people turn that off because they only they want to be able to contact the customer, confirm everything, and also that's a chance for upselling and additional confirmation of information with the customer. So of the orders I have here, I can click on the details icon for it, and it gives me the options to, it shows me the details for it. And so if everything looks good, I can edit the order before accepting. And then it's going to allow me to create that order, and it'll allow me to make changes to that order as needed. But if everything looks good, so it just has me confirm all the information. So there's the client information, property information, and I can at this point click to fetch the address. Interesting. We shouldn't have to really enter that. Oh, and that's, I just made up an address. So they're made that property isn't in the MLS, but so I'll hit save and next. That's those entries. So I just confirm everything. That's a good schedule to be put in. Confirm the information. And so this basically goes through that same process. Oh, because there's no age of the property. As the value. And so then I can I'll go through and accept it, but I can always make changes at that point when it's going to occur. So the order's been submitted. but that way you have the option to review the orders, and if the order just outright doesn't, and because you will get people who just fill out stuff to fill out stuff, you can always cancel the orders at that point from the pending orders view, and they're not going on your books. But that also can be a chance because sometimes customers are confused for whatever reason. It's a good chance to follow up with them and make sure that everything looks correct. Now, once an order is scheduled within the Home Inspector Pro side, you'll go in and you'll be, as part of your inspection, you'll create a new inspection. You can do this on the desktop or on the mobile. I'm going to do this on the mobile, on the desktop, but the process is the same on the mobile. As you create the inspection, and then you're able to import the data from HIP Office, and this shows you all the orders that are currently on the books for you to import. And so here's the one we scheduled earlier. I selected from the list.
How did you get to that screen that you're on right now out of HIP Office?
Within the Home Inspector Pro desktop program, I went to Internet and import data from HIP Office. And so this is the program that's installed on your Windows or Mac computer. And so then I was able to import that data, and that populates the client information. On the mobile version, you would do this on the client info tab, and you have a button at the top for import from HIP Office. And that'll populate all the data that you've entered in on the client and agent information, as well as you see it has the office order number. So you would go through and then do your inspection and make sure to save your inspection at some point. So I'm actually going to save just for good measure. I would go through, do my inspection, make sure that everything looks correct. I'd add my photos, do everything that's part of my inspection process. Once I'm ready to actually send the inspection to Home Inspector Pro, and actually I am going to actually go ahead and add a couple photos here. Oh, I have photos in there. Okay. And so let's see, go to foundation walls. And I'm going to put in this one and this one. All right, part, there we go. So once I let me go ahead and generate the report, make sure that it looks correct. It's already open, so let me make sure it flows my report before I generate it again. So I'm generating my report to make sure that everything looks correct. That's, let me put a cover photo in there. Photos, yeah, photos. There we go. So I'm happy with my report. It's good, it's accurate, all that type of stuff. Once you're ready to then send the report off to the client, you can then go to you can go to upload report, and you have the option to upload report to client via HIP Office. And so this pops up a window that it'll show the order number, which based on what was imported in, whether the contract is signed and what it's paid, and then the status of what's going to cause it to automatically be sent out or not and be marked as complete. Then at a minimum, that's all you have to do. You do have the option, as I mentioned, if you have multiple reports, say for example, you do an inspection, residential inspection report for the customer, and then you do a second report that is the termite report. If I were uploading the termite report, I would upload as an additional report, and this allows me to specify what the title is going to be, and this will go into the supplemental orders. For your primary inspections, you would not have this checked. Upload report in HTML format. By default, it always sends PDFs to the customer. The HTML report format is helpful, especially if you're doing video. This allows you to display the report in other formats, so that it is going to it uses the web browser on the computer, on the client's computer, to view the report as opposed to the PDF viewer. Backup current inspection. This is what sends the inspection file, your editable HCF file as the inspector. This what sends it to the inspection file view to be backed up. And then there's an option here for upload repair request list. And the repair request list is a separate report, and it's more of a utility that when you check this, this then prompts you to select photos of summary items and comments that are in the summary. So in this case, for the aluminum wire, it has the comment that would appear in the summary. And then whether you want to relate this image to it or not, you'll notice this image is used in multiple places because there are multiple comments in the electrical panel section. But this allows you to then send up all your summary comments and any photos you specify, and they go into a separate area that goes to the real estate agents. And this allows the agents to go through and review the items that are in the report, specifically in the repair request list, assign values to them, assign priorities to them, maybe exclude them if they're not urgent. But this creates a report that the agents can then use as part of their negotiations with the seller's agent, so that they can say, yeah, the roof is shot, take off 20 grand off the price. But this allows you to take the data that you've created and repurpose it for negotiations as part of the inspection or as part of the sale process. And often guys will come in here and they'll just do select all items and select all photos, because ideally the photos that you're entering in would be related to the comments that are there. In this case, where I have this comment is under electrical panel, same thing with this one, same thing with this third one. This photo may only apply to the first entry and not the second and third entry. So you would uncheck any sections that basically specify which photo applies to the comment that is checked to be sent. And we have a separate tutorial on the repair request list that's available on our website. We go to the close. We can then create and send the report to the current inspection. It's saving my inspection, so I hit save. Yes. And then it's going to prompt to save the inspection report. And then it uploads it to the HIP office. And once the report is uploaded to the HIP office, then it's going to be sent out. Emails are going to be sent out based on the triggers that you set up as part of your email templates. And the report will be sent to the customer, the agent, or whoever you specified. And then the actual order is going to be completed once the customers have viewed the report or received the emailed report and then viewed the actual report. Then assuming that the payment is made and the contract is signed, the order is going to be completed and it'll be considered closed. So this gives you the ability to go through and send the information out. You can then save the inspection and close out a Home Inspector Pro or begin working on another inspection. So, are there any questions on the process of what I've gone over here? Okay, so a good primer for this is to actually go through and set yourself up and create an order with yourself, or just make somebody up and walk through that process so you can make sure that everything looks appropriate for, for what you're inspecting. This will give you a good idea of how that process is going to work for your customers and what they could expect. And everything we've covered today is under HIP Office version 1. HIP Office version 2 is in the process of being tested right now, and we're hoping to release in the next couple months. The functionality will be basically the same, but it'll have additional features as well as support for multiple inspector companies. So right now it's a single, HIP Office is just single user. HIP Office version 2 will have new features and more user abilities. And everybody who is currently using version 4 will eventually be migrated to is using version 1 will be migrated to version 2 as it's released. And so more information will be sent out about that once it becomes available. So, okay, so that about covers it. If you do have any questions, let us know. Tomorrow's training, I believe, will be on the HIP desktop and how to perform inspections in HIP desktop. And William, I will have somebody give you a call here shortly to walk you through syncing your template and making sure that goes through.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Have a good day.